Welcome to Inspiring Narratives, your favorite channel for uplifting stories, renewed hope, and cultivating a deeper connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Discover with me how turning to Allah can lead you to amazing changes in your life. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We are back with another uplifting story that will, by the grace of Allah, strengthen your faith and renew your hope, inshallah. Let's start by sending peace and blessings on our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Say it with me. Allahumma salli wa sallim wa barik ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Get yourself your favorite drink, get comfortable, and let's get started with our story. The sister of this story says, my husband, 2 sons, and I have been living in an Arab country for several years. 7 years to be exact. Our financial and social situation was good, and we were living a very comfortable life, alhamdulillah. Every year I go back to my home country and stay for a month at my family's home. I'd meet up with my family and my husband's family, and life was nice and smooth. But what happened after those 7 years was unimaginable. After 7 years, my husband had an issue with his sponsor, which escalated, and he had to leave his job, and eventually the man in charge got him imprisoned. He was imprisoned unjustly for 2 years. My husband was the only source of income for our family. So when that was cut off, I wasn't going to stay alone in that country without my mother, sister, in-laws, or anyone I knew. I didn't know anyone there. So I took my children and returned to my home country, settling in my apartment at the family home. My shock wasn't about losing the job there. The biggest shock was something else. The people who used to welcome me every time I went back home and stayed for a month, they were not the same people anymore. These people who were my family and his family were no longer who they once were. These were the people who would meet me at the airport, always welcoming and ready to help and treat me and my children with so much love. They were no longer like that at all. My shock was in them, not in losing our job. I couldn't believe that people would act this way. When you have money, they stay close to you, love you, and do all they can to help you. But when you lose everything, they distance themselves. These were family members, people close to us, not strangers. If it were strangers, I wouldn't care. But for someone close to you, when they take joy in your misery and distance themselves during a crisis, that was something I didn't expect from people who are our own flesh and blood. And it wasn't just that. Even during Eid, no one would visit my children or wish them well. Usually during Eid, money is gifted to the children and gifts are exchanged. They knew my circumstances, so no one came. My children didn't even have new Eid clothes to wear. They wore the old clothes they had from before. My children were happy it's Eid and they wanted to go out and visit family members, and I'd tell them not to go. I was afraid that if they visited family members, they'd expect an idea, an Eid gift, and they might not give them, and then my children would be disappointed. 2 holidays passed like this, and my children were heartbroken because no one would come to celebrate with them. My husband would call occasionally whenever he was allowed to. He'd ask us how we were, and I would tell him, alhamdulillah, we're okay. I lived in the family home, and I would go downstairs and I would try to help my mother-in-law with the cooking. I'd tell her, let's cook together. What would you like me to help you with? But she would respond, no dear, we don't have much to cook. Go upstairs to your apartment and take care of your children. She treated me this way because she knew we wouldn't be able to contribute financially to the household. Looking back, I regret that I spent 7 years not doing anything for myself or my children. Every penny from my husband's salary went towards our living expenses. We used to send money and gifts to our families, and we were living in the moment. But unfortunately, we didn't save anything for the future. But now, when I visited my mother-in-law, she would tell me to go back up. When I visited my mother, the welcome was cold. I'd say Assalamu alaikum and get a quick wa alaikum salam in response. I would sense from her that she didn't want me there with my children. This was one of the hardest shocks of my life, the way these people treated me. So I decided I wouldn't just sit around and do nothing. I went out to look for work, thinking any job I find, I'll take it because I needed money. Who's going to spend on my children? My mother-in-law would sometimes send up leftovers to the children. Or if they went down to her place, she would say, eat yesterday's food because we didn't cook today. Every day it was the same. I found a job in the clothing store. I worked there for 6 months. I'd leave home at 10 a.m. and I'd return at 10 p.m. But it didn't matter, as long as I could bring something home for my children to eat or wear. After 6 months, I heard about a good private school hiring teachers. I went for an interview, and by the grace of Allah and with my constant istighfar, I got the job. I used to make istighfar constantly and also dua and ask Allah to forgive me my sins over and over again. I didn't have a set number I followed. I would do as much istighfar as I could. I would also, a lot of the time, pray the night prayer saying, "Oh Allah, forgive me." I would make dua asking Allah to forgive me. I wanted to clear myself of any sins. I would pray 2 rak'at, seek Allah's forgiveness through istighfar, and then again through dua. I continued with this routine until Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blessed me with this job at a private school. The working hours were from the morning until 1:30 p.m., which was perfect because I could be with my children after school. They had started attending public school. I would come home, prepare lunch, and then help them study at home. Little by little, I gained experience, and soon I started giving private lessons, bringing in friends to study together at our place. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala opened doors for me, and soon I was able to support my children fully. Every time I made istighfar and made dua seeking Allah's forgiveness, He blessed me more and more. My husband would call and I would tell him we're doing well. After 2 years of his imprisonment, he was finally released, but banned from returning to the country we had lived in. When he came back, he was shocked by everything I had gone through, especially regarding how the people around us had acted. One day, a friend of his who was working in another country called, saying that his company was hiring technicians, such as electricians, plumbers, and skilled workers in general. My husband wanted to go, but wasn't a technician. He was an accountant, so it didn't fit his skills. He asked if there was any positions for an accountant. Unfortunately, they didn't have any availability. Still, he helped some people from our area prepare to go and get hired. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made him a means to help others, even if he couldn't travel himself. Alhamdulillah, my husband helped many others find work and supported them in securing a job. And as the hadith mentions, whoever fulfills the need of his brother, Allah will fulfill his needs. We continued with our istighfar and added salawat to our daily routine. Later, my husband got a call from a local company where he worked as an accountant for a year. Then his friend from the other country called again, saying there was an opening for an accountant. So my husband applied and was accepted. After a year, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala rewarded him with an even better opportunity, with higher pay and a better life than the other country we were living in. If my husband hadn't gone through the hardship of imprisonment, he would never have ended up in a better position than he had before. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala arranged everything so perfectly, even revealing the true nature of the people around us. Maybe Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did this to teach us to prepare for the future and secure ourselves and our children. 2 years after he settled into his new position, my husband called and told me there was a teaching position available for me if I could get a letter of experience. So I took a few courses to improve my skills, got the necessary certification, and moved to be with my husband. I now work as a teacher with a salary that even exceeds that of a doctor's in my home country. Our financial situation has improved significantly. All thanks to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and our consistent dua and dhikr practice. Every day I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive me my sins. This is the dua I make frequently. Our life has changed 180 degrees. There was wisdom in everything that happened. If you are in a difficult situation, know that everything is going according to Allah's plan, and everything will be perfect in the end. This whole story stands as a testament to the incredible power of dua and dhikr. Remember, when times get truly challenging, that's often the sign that relief is near. This brings us to the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed this story. I'd love to hear your thoughts, so do leave a comment below. I'll see you in the next video. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.